Hi, this is Patricia Stepler with Your Inside Power. And today we're going to explore the power of entrepreneurial thinking and how it can radically transform your business and your life. And entrepreneurial thinking doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be an entrepreneur, but it's the thinking that's really important that you need to have in your life. So, whether you're an entrepreneur, a business owner, an employee, um, and you're looking to gain confidence and increase your income, increase your profits, boost your productivity, and achieve the time and money freedom that you really want, that's what we're really talking about at this point. So, let me share a story with you. You see, I thought I had a very solid understanding of personal development, and I studied it my entire adult life. I read books, I got programs and listened to them. I went to many, many, many conferences and conventions where some of the great public speakers on personal development were. And so I thought I knew a great deal, but it wasn't until my son manifested a full college scholarship that I began to question whether I truly understood goal setting and success. Because while he had this great accomplishment, it was truly extraordinary and should not have happened, but it did. I didn't fully understand how it happened. And that led me to going deeper and finding the answers, which drew me to Bob Proctor and learning and understanding the laws of attraction, universal laws. This was the piece I was missing during all that personal development I did. I'd never heard about this. And, you know, I think we have to first realize that there is a cosmic intelligence, higher intelligence, source energy, God. I mean, I knew about God at that point, but I didn't understand that within that there is a thinking substance which is there all the time. It's omnipresent in every space of the universe equally at the same time. And the thought, again, I didn't understand the mind either, but thought is not about brain substance. The brain is simply a function of your body, just like your heart or your lungs. The brain does not think. It's the person, the spirit within that person that expresses the the ideas, and it works through the brain. So it's the spirit that thinks. You get an idea and it pops in your head. Well, it didn't just pop in your head. You see, it was in the universe. And that idea came to you at that time. And so now you think about it. And the brain is a function of the mind, it's not the mind. In fact, I often use this stick figure that was designed by Dr. Thurman Fleet back in the 1920s. And he did this because he realized people did not understand what the mind was, because there's no visual, and we are visual people. And so just because there's no visual of the mind, he created this stick figure so he could explain to people what was actually happening inside their head that they were not seeing. So that's what we're going to be talking about. The mind is all encompassing, and it's in every part of your body. And it's the mind that you're connecting with, to that higher intelligence. And when you connect with that, it will guide you to the truth. And the truth is who you want to be. And you have to see yourself as that person. And with this knowledge, you can become who you want to be. You can have what you want to have, and you can do the things that you want to do. And that should be great news to everybody listening. So, as a former educator and teacher, I believed in filling young minds with knowledge. That's what school does, it fills young minds with knowledge. But I realized once I started to understand this, once my son got that scholarship, that there was a crucial piece that's missing in the education system. And that is getting children or young adults to understand who they are and what they're capable of. We weren't teaching them how to think about their potential or how to tap into any of these universal laws. These aren't taught in school, and yet they probably should be. And these laws govern our success. And why isn't it taught? Well, it's because nobody, teaches this, because most people don't understand it. And we would sometimes teach goal setting. Schools do that, but we don't understand the mind and how the mind works, and what happens when we get scared and when the terror barrier, goes wild inside of us. And so this became very frustrating to me after I started to understand all these pieces and realized that in all the personal development programs I had done, that too was missing. So the law of attraction will teach us that our thoughts create our reality. And I saw this firsthand in my children, even though I did not understand this. My son is actually my youngest child, and I didn't understand this, but I guess enough of that personal development that I had encouraged all three of my children to set goals and to decide what they wanted to do and to step out and achieve them and not to give up. And the students I taught generally didn't have that same mindset because they probably did not have parents like I was and my husband was encourage them. And so they probably lacked a little of that vision and that personal development, which I actually did have. And I guess even though I did not understand the law of attraction at that time when my children were young, that ability of personal development, helped them to achieve a lot of their goals. And in other words, we don't often process without realizing what we're doing. So even though we may not figure out what exactly the process is, we become unconscious competence, and things start to happen and we don't really understand why, and we just think it's normal. And when we start to understand it, that's when it becomes very exciting to us. So anyway, my frustration with the educational system led me to seek new ways of teaching and figuring this out, which led me to having my own business and having private coaching students. And I learned to work with them on the power of the mind and how the universal laws work, and they shape our own reality. And what I came to realize is that it's not enough just to learn facts or to follow traditional paths. We have to develop thinking, a mindset that allows us to envision the future and bring it right into the present. We need to set clear goals and take consistent action towards those goals. Because if we don't take action towards the goals, we're not going to achieve what we want. And there's where some people fail to take new action. If we do the same things we're doing today, we're not going to get there. So we have to really start to understand that. And all you have to do is to learn the system, learn the laws, learn the process, and you can become great when you learn this information. And when you learn how to overcome anxiety, worry, doubt, and fear. Now, sounds pretty simple, doesn't it? And it is, the process is simple. It's the doing part that sometimes becomes a little difficult. So because I was frustrated in the education system, I left teaching and went to work and do corporate training seminars with a company. And here's what shocked me. The same issues I saw in my students were the same issues that were present when I would talk to managers and supervisors in the corporate world. And what I started to realize was these business owners, managers, supervisors were struggling with the same issues that I struggled with as a teacher working with children. And so that made me think that we never really overcome this, and it has to be taught. And so the only difference between these employees and the children I taught was they were just bigger bodies. They had the same issues. We never learn how to overcome our thinking and become the person we really want to be. So I realized that nobody, whether school or business, was being taught how to develop their thinking or how to become aware of these universal laws. And that awareness of this information leads to massive improvements in their lives, whether it's, their personal life, their business life, raising their children. It makes a massive difference when you understand how to think and how to use these laws properly. And it's just not taught. And so that's when I kind of made it my mission to help people unlock their full potential. So I soon left that job because I was not able to teach people what I knew they needed because of my contract with that company. So that's when I decided to go into business for myself so I could really share the wealth of information that I had learned over the years, not only in how the mind works, but how to develop the leadership skills that you need to lead a business or to improve the position you have. If you want to go from the position you have to a position 2 or 3 rungs higher, you can do it. And these laws help in every facet of your life. And it's not just the law of attraction. There's a lot of different universal laws, and we can't change them. We can work against them or we can work with them, but we cannot change them. And the law of attraction is just one of them. And it's the one that fascinates maybe me the most because it's the one where you can actually shape your own reality. So the universal intelligence or higher power, God, what you want to call it, is everywhere and in everything. And this intelligence responds to your thoughts. So you have to be very careful what it is you're sharing with that universe. And so this is why some people think that it doesn't work, because they think on one level they're sharing what they want, but on the next level they're allowing that doubt and fear and worry to get into their minds, and therefore stopping that thinking or reversing it to the negative. And so you have to be very careful what you say. You have to be very careful in the actions that you do so that everything is aligned. But this intelligence will respond to your thoughts and to the vibrations that you send out to the world. Now let's think about vibrations for a minute, because everything's vibrating and we can pick up on our vibrations and we can pick up on other people's vibrations. When you're in a store and you're looking for the clerk that you want to go to, you can pick up on somebody's vibration. You can figure out what it is that they're thinking and what it is that you might need. And so when we pick up on other people's vibrations, that's our intuitive factor. And intuitively, we can tell when somebody's really upset. We can tell when somebody's really happy. We can tell, when somebody is not very pleasant to be around. We can tell when we think somebody maybe isn't a good person, or that we, are in, there's a fearful thing that could happen. And so we pick up on that through the vibrations. And when you align your thoughts and your desires and you eliminate that doubt, fear, and worry, and you tap into all of this, that's when your life really changes. And it sounds really easy and it's simple, but it's not necessarily easy. So think of it this way. The universe is waiting for you to become clear on what it is you want and to keep that one thought. Here's the other thing. A lot of times people will shift their ideas. And 1 minute they'll think, okay, this is what I want. And then the next minute it's this. And then they shift to something else and then something else. And you're confusing the universe. And so it doesn't really know what you want. So you have to make sure that whatever you're sending out there is clear and concise. And so you've thought about that. And you continue to have that same thought day after day after day. And you have to believe that you can have it. Sometimes it's a belief factor. People don't believe that it's possible. Why did they think that? Well, their subconscious mind's interfering with them. It's like having that angel and devil on your shoulder, and the angel saying, yes, you can do it. And the devil saying, no, you can't. That's what's going on in your mind. But you have to believe. And then the next thing you have to do, you have to take action. Because if you're not taking action, nothing's going to change. And then you have to hold on to the faith, because faith is invisible, just like fear is invisible. But faith is invisible, and you have to hold on to the faith that it will happen, even when you don't see it happening. And when you can do that, and you can hold on to desire, it's going to happen. You just have to have that belief. And it becomes difficult because we're so impatient. We live in this instantaneous world. And so if something takes more than a couple seconds, because you can send a phone message to somebody clear across the world. My son's in Japan now, and I can send him a message, and I know he gets it within seconds. And so we live in this instantaneous world, being able to do that. And so we think anything that takes a little time, then is not working. And that's just not correct. So we really have to start thinking deeply about what it is we want, taking action, and having that faith, taking that leap of faith. I'm sure you've heard that expression, when you see the invisible and you take that leap of faith, believing that will happen. And sometimes it may be a little scary for a little bit, because sometimes things don't happen the way we think they should happen. When my son got that scholarship, a lot of people look at him and say, oh, he was lucky. There was no luck involved there. It was a lot of work, and there was frustrations. And there were times when he thought that he was not going to be able to get a scholarship because things didn't work out the way he had thought they would. Well, his plan wouldn't have worked. You see, and that's sometimes we have to understand that sometimes our plan is not the right one, and we don't know everything. You see, we put that idea out there for the universe. You tell the universe what it is you want, and you may say, and this is how I think this will happen. And then you need to be open to the possibility that maybe your plan wasn't right. And so he had to be open to the plan that maybe he didn't know, and he didn't know. And things happened that became really discouraging, and he felt really bad because he thought he had lost the possibility of getting the scholarship. And he had to realize his plan wasn't going to work. And if he had followed his plan and ignored the universe, he would not have gotten a scholarship. But because he allowed the universe to take him on this journey, he was able to get the scholarship. And that's what we have to realize. We don't know it all. And we can lay out the best plans in the world in our minds, but we don't know everything that the universe knows. And there may be a connection there that somebody you don't know yet. And that's the person that will get you to your goal. And you may not know that if you did this and that and this and that, that's the answer. And so sometimes you get an idea, like this morning. I woke up this morning, and all of a sudden I had this great idea pop in my head. I was like, that's what I need to do. Well, I don't think that came from me. There are times maybe an idea comes from me, but I think a lot of times the idea comes from outside of us. And we get an idea and we can accept it or reject it because our conscious mind has that ability. And so this idea I got this morning, I accepted it because I thought, yes, that's what I need to do. Now I have to put it into action. And that's what I want you to understand. These ideas are out there. They're in the ether, and they will come into your head. They come into your mind. And you have to decide, it's like a sorting process. Nope, that one's no good. Nope, that one's there. That one seems good. And so you use that with your wisdom that you have and with the knowledge you know about you. But those ideas come to you, and you have to take some action. Now, if I decide that those ideas, the idea I got was really good, but I take no action, then I only have myself to blame that if things don't go right, because there's an action I thought I should take. So what's the next step for you? Well, I think the next step is to be willing to accept the ideas of what I'm saying to you about this thought process that we have. And if you're really ready to develop that type of thinking, and I just call it entrepreneurial thinking because it's when you're in a business sometimes, or you're an employee, you're told what to do. And you have to start thinking for yourself. And you can still be working for somebody else and still develop an entrepreneurial thinking. And I guarantee you, your boss is going to appreciate that because you're now thinking for yourself and you're not dependent on them so much. So when you develop that, you will start gathering the success and manifesting the success that you want in your life, in your business, in whatever it is you're doing. So if you're ready to dive deeper and learn how to apply these universal laws to your life, to your business, to increase your income or your profits and gain more time and freedom, money freedom, and to live the life you truly desire, I suggest you attend one of my workshops or reach out to me personally. And so you can go to patricia.creatingtopproducers.com/workshop, and it's in the show notes. And you can click on there and sign up for one of the workshops. And if you can't make it live, I'll see that you get that recording for it. And, you know, join me in one of those adventures or reach out to me and we'll schedule a call. And it's really important because, like I said, my goal is to help unleash like 1,000 people to understand and to get to their full potential because we have so much more inside of us than we ever realize. And that's why I call my business Creating Top Producers, because that's why I want you to be a top producer. I want you to live the life of your dreams and to become the person you want to be, to have the position in your business that you want or in your job, and to really do the things and have the things that you want that would make you happy and give you an exciting life. Because, as far as we know, we only have one chance at life and we need to make the most of it. And why not have an enjoyable life and do the things that we want to do rather than have a life where we think everything's a struggle and it's miserable? Who wants to live like that? So reach out to me and let's help you to get to where you want to be and unleash your full potential.